Hey, my name is Parker Rickensrud, and looking at these questions, I have the questions pulled up on my brother's phone because my mom's using my laptop right now. But for the coronavirus situation, I definitely say it's very weird, something I've never experienced before at all. And to go off the first question, how has it affected me as a student, person, sport manager? Well, the first question is, tells me about what I've learned. So what I've learned has kind of been like really how much I need a schedule on me because I feel like this coronavirus time has made me kind of like very like I feel a lot more lazy, and during the nights I'll go running around my old neighborhood where I used to live at to feel like I've accomplished something during the day because you might do that homework assignment that takes 30 minutes but you'll spend 2 hours doing it just because you get distracted on certain things. And it's definitely being weird being so isolated from everybody else, but it's also kind of been cool to kind of just spend family time because me and my younger brother, who is a freshman at ECU, uh, he's the last one out of the nest, as my mom would say. And so for her personally, it was hard for her to lose her two baby boys when she was here by herself all the time. So it's kind of neat to I will even though this is terrible times, it was very exciting for her to spend time with us as much as we are, me and my brother being back home. And it's just kind of, I wouldn't say it bring our family closer because we are already pretty close, but it's definitely been more of a better time as a family than it would be if me and my brother were both in college still. So that's kind of nice. It's just good to think about that. And what I also learned is I really need to be on a schedule because I would, at the beginning of this quarantine, I was staying up till 6 and waking up at 2 every morning. And I said I wasn't having that anymore. So I had to, even though I stayed up till 6, I'd still set my alarm for 9:30, and I'd still get up at that time, and I gradually started being able to sleep right again. So then, like, adding a workout routine and putting myself to a alarm clock really changed the whole way I was feeling about this quarantine. Because at first I was just feeling a little, I wouldn't say depressed, but just like extremely bored because there's nothing to do, and you just feel like you're kind of sitting in the house all the time. So what I learned is how to be productive in such a, trying to find the right word, but in such like a still and quiet situation. Like, don't ever just be that lazy person who's gonna sit on the couch all day. But we have all this opportunity to do so many things. Why not be productive with it and like better myself? And I guess that's something that I feel like I learned. And how has it affected me as a student, person, and future sport manager? As a student, I feel like it has made it a little bit easier. Definitely as a student, because I get a lot more time to study, and a lot of teachers have opened the opportunities to us. They literally said, where one class where I had spent a long time studying for a test, that same teacher says you can use all your notes for these upcoming tests. And so that's definitely been a huge difference maker. Like, I didn't have to spend an extremely amount of time studying like I did when I was back at school, but still I would have to say I miss being back at school more than anything, giving me structure and like things to do. And I would rather study 10 hours for a test and feel more accomplished, feeling like I actually learned something taking the test, than just bulldozing through an open note thing while I'm taking the test. I don't feel like I learn as much when I do that. But as a student, it's definitely, I don't know, it's just given me a different insight, I guess. I wouldn't say the quarantine has made me a better student because I don't feel like I really gained as much knowledge as I would have inside the classroom, as I'm a very like visual and interactive learner. And as a person, I feel like it made me a lot more aware because I'm not gonna lie, at the very beginning, I was kind of like, all this is kind of ridiculous. I didn't understand the point of all this closing down. I didn't just blah blah blah. You kind of get the point, but uh, then like as it progressed and it's like you really understand, you really see what's happening. You realize that there are people out there who are being affected, and like I personally had some traumatic moments in my life where I sat there and I thought about why me? How is no one else understanding this? Only if they knew, kind of deal. And I felt like I was almost hypocritical in a situation where I was sitting there talking a certain way about the situation, looking at the situation a certain way, when I kind of had to realize and put myself in check and think, well, there probably is a family out there who's losing a loved one to this virus, and they probably would not agree with anything I had to say. So then when I put that in perspective, and I was like, okay, I get it. And so as a person, it just gave me more of awareness than what I already had. I would still say I was a more aware person, but in terms of this specific situation, at the beginning, I don't think I was very very correct in what I was thinking. And so back to the questions. As a future sport manager, it's definitely made it weird because I was planning to do internships this summer, but considering that this quarantine and everything has completely shut down sports, I haven't really thought about what I could even do or what opportunities would be available, because it's kind of, as I said, I got a little bit lazy being silly old Parker. And so I haven't done a lot of research out there, but I've already been doing a Wolfpack property assistant job for all the sports teams, where I work during the games to almost all the sports except for things like volleyball and whatnot. But I do basketball, football, and baseball, and uh, those require a lot of time and whatnot. And so, but the thing is with that is I can keep that job for the rest of my college career, and then maybe have a job at the end. But then I also was given the opportunity to be an equipment manager staff on the football team. And so when thinking about it is, I've always wanted to work directly in a football. And so when thinking about it, I don't want to end up never doing that equipment manager job and then always wondering what if in the future, you know what I'm saying? And so the thing is, I could do this equipment football manager thing and work in the summer and kind of fill in for the summer internship that I felt like I was missing. And so I keep thinking to myself, and I really feel like I should go do it. You know, I kept being worried about the schedule, but at the end of the day, if you want something, if you want to be successful in it, you got to take the hard trips to get there, or else it's not worth it. And how has it messed up my life, or maybe made it in better places? We'll kind of go back to what I said in the beginning. I don't think it's really messed up my life at all. I mean, if you had to call the missing internships a mess up, then maybe. But in terms of better, it just made me closer, and I got to spend a lot more time with family. And you learn some bigger lessons when you're sitting here by yourself and you have a lot more thought. And even though you don't have structure, you kind of figure out yourself a little bit. And so I figured out what it'd be like if I didn't have a job, or how boring it would be if I didn't have a schedule. So it really makes me want to push to where I put myself in a situation where I'm busy doing something that I like, and where I'm not bored, and I'm getting out there, I'm being active and being social. And so just the isolation, I guess, taught me a lot. And so I think that's really all I have. Really, it's just been a very eye-opening experience, and overall, it's been very interesting too. But at the end of the day, overall, to summarize, I guess the isolation kind of taught me how to be more productive, how to not be lazy, and I got to be a lot closer to some of my family members, or I got to spend a lot of more time with a lot of my family members. It gave me a realization about some things that I didn't have at the very beginning, in terms of not taking the virus as seriously as I should have, and then just kind of connecting my past experiences of losing someone that mattered a lot to me all of a sudden, and then now connecting it to someone who possibly is out there who I don't know. And so overall, I say the experience is a good experience. Not in terms of the actual situation, but in terms of what I've got from it, in terms of bettering myself and making myself a better person. And so that's my video for the extra credit. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this assignment.